Hey guys, I'm Gracie from StyleMeGracie.com, and I am here with two of the loveliest ladies from online. We have Michelle Phan and Jkissa. Say hi, ladies.
Hi.
So you guys are always asking us questions about work and about life, and today we really wanted to tackle those questions. We have some amazing themes, and we're gonna get right into it.
This is fun. I like this.
It's intense.
Yeah. I feel like this day and age, we should have this because everyone's on their phones, and so no one's talking. So you kind of have to bring out the bowl of questions. Like everyone take a freaking question and talk to.
Yeah, new party game. And I feel like people don't talk to each other anymore. They text each other, but then I don't know. I just enjoy these conversations.
Bringing back old school.
So the next theme is setting goals, and I'm pretty sure we're kind of familiar with this.
Yes.
So the first question is, do you separate your personal goals from your professional ones?
Yes, though I feel like they start to merge at times. I mean, you ladies know, like in this day and age where so many of us are making our livings, doing like stuff at home from our computers, from, you know, whatever, this, that, and the other, you can fall into working 24/7 because you're not going into an office and leaving at, 5 or 6 or 7. You're constantly on your computer, at least I am, answering emails, taking care of appointments, running to auditions, and sometimes I do see like it bleeding into my personal life where I'm like, oh my God, do I have a life or am I working 24/7? So yeah, I think it gets challenging to separate it, but what I try to do is I reserve Friday night date nights for my husband. So no matter what's going on, no matter what event or what shoot's supposed to happen, I try to keep that open. And then I also try to keep the weekends open in general. But yeah, Monday through Friday afternoon.
Hustle.
I'm like,
nonstop.
Do this all day long, yeah. What about you guys?
I have to piggyback off of you, Gracie. I feel like you're right. The internet is opened 24/7. I feel like sometimes we feel that pressure of wanting to feed the machine. You know, the machine of the internet. It needs to be updated. It needs more content. And that's why I think it is important to have a sense of boundaries when you're working. What I do, I know this is really funny, and maybe you guys might be inspired by it, but when I'm working off my laptop, I make sure it's not charged. I don't charge it with a charger because once it's down to 5%, so that means this is my time to take a break too. So I close my laptop and I charge it, and then I go off and I do other things.
Wow.
You have to think about it. If a machine needs a break, imagine your brain. We're a natural machine.
I love this so much.
I know, I'm doing this when I get home.
You have to disconnect it, because if you don't, what ends up happening is you lose that sense of inspiration. You know, it becomes like work and you become a machine, and that's not good when you're nurturing the artistic soul, the creative soul inside of you. You know, you have to keep nurturing that, and so you have to close the laptop, walk outside, make something for yourself, call someone, text someone, just don't do anything work.
Yeah, I love that. What about you?
I am gonna kind of feed off of you guys. I definitely try and take personal days, but there are some like weeks that I'm just going, and then I'm just like run down, and I'm like, I can't do it. And then my boyfriend, he's like, so when was the last time you took a day off? And I was like, I don't really know.
3 weeks ago?
Yeah. And so he kind of keeps me in check with that, and just I think
it's good.
Taking days off is really important.
Yeah.
It is.
And do you feel like, because now that I am recently married, like everyone's like, when are you having a baby? It's like always the next question. I'm like, oh my God, a baby? Like, how am I gonna do that? How am I gonna have time for that?
I think that's so rude to ask someone that.
People, right? I'm like,
I feel at this day and age, don't ask a woman when she's gonna have a baby, okay? Everyone in the camera looking.
You're hearing that?
It's personal, and you know, I'm not trying to like, be oversensitive here, but it is a personal question, because I don't want women to feel today that they have this biological time clock, this ticking bomb of like, I need to have a kid and procreate. It's like, no, you do what feels right in your life. You know, in this day, if you take care of yourself, if you can take care of yourself, eat healthy, eat right, and prolong your life, you can prolong the date.
So do you guys, because you're not married, you said boyfriend, right? And then what about you?
Boyfriend.
You have a boyfriend.
But
So now,
it's pretty serious.
Does that like bleed into your work life? Like, do you think, I don't know where you are with these guys in your lives, but do you think like, oh my God, I have to get married?
No.
Or do you ever?
We need to stop thinking in old paradigm, of the old paradigm of a woman graduating at like 23, she gets a job, she works, and then she marries at 28. And she
completely agree.
We need to get rid of that, because there needs to be a change, because if we're talking about gender equality, and I know like a lot of us were wanting it, we also have to think gender equality too. You know, like a man, he doesn't feel pressure to have his career by 30, because you know he doesn't. So why should we? Especially now, people are living much longer than they did before. Yeah, they're living much longer. I think I was reading an article about people, even like 500 years ago. I would be considered middle age. I'm 27. What? I would be considered middle age. People would live up to 40. And that's why they didn't have cancer, they didn't die of cancer or heart attack, because they didn't live old enough to have to get that sick.
And then what about you? What do you think about that?
I mean, kind of playing off of what you said, my boyfriend, he is all about the women kind of getting their own career and doing their own thing. And he's like, I mean, eventually, like, I want to get married, but I want to have my career, and I want my future wife to have her career, and I want her to be stable, and I want her to be happy within herself. And so I think that's really cool, and I think that it's great that it's kind of going that way in life.
There needs to be a balance. It's as simple as that, right? You know, if someone is always working all the time, there also needs to be someone that's home a little more.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, especially when you have kids, you want someone at home for the kids.
Or a puppy.
So it's
or a puppy. I know, poor puppy.
So it seems like our personal goal in general is to have a personal life. We all want our personal lives, which is great. Are you flexible with your goals? Do they change? So kind of piggybacking on that first question, we all have these amazing like work goals, and maybe we've met our goals. Now, have they changed over the last couple of years, you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They've totally changed.
What about you?
I always try to update my goals, and I always, like, one of my favorite things is like scratching off something on my goal list. Yeah, I'm like, oh, I did that. And then, but yeah, so I always like to add goals, even if they're small, you know, like maybe getting up 2 videos a week, 3 videos a week, even something that small that I can just cross off. That's like my favorite thing. But yeah, so I think that they're always evolving and changing.
Yeah, totally.
I love seeing other people's goals.
Yeah.
Just because it helps inspire me, thinking, oh, maybe I should add that in my bucket list, you know? I always ask people, oh, what's on your bucket list?
Yeah, I think for me, my career has evolved and changed a bunch throughout my 20s, and I love that. Like, I used to be a producer, and then I decided to quit that and become an actress, and then I started my blog, and now I do like hosting and styling and acting, and it's like I love doing all these things that I love. But I went to college, like originally I thought I was going to college for business. I thought I was going to work in finance.
I get you, girl.
So yeah, so I think, you know, your goals change, your dreams change, and I think go for them, because life is short and you need to just go after what makes you happy.
I completely agree.
I think we got that one quick. All right, let's move on to the next one. What do you do when life disrupts your goals? So when things come into your life that kind of maybe change your path for a second, how do you deal with those?
Be like water and you go with it. You know, if it changes your path, you have to flow with it. Just like Bruce Lee said, be like water. That means we have to constantly move and go with the flow. You know, like sometimes I feel like how our society is, and how like society places these you know, this structure of thinking a certain way and working a certain way, it's going against the flow of what we're supposed to be. Which is like, we're people who are supposed to be evolving and helping the next generation and progressing. And sometimes I feel like there's all these walls that are built, and it's stopping us from connecting with each other. Yeah, you know, like because of like, you know, different beliefs, or, you know, like gender, etc. Right now I'm going through some legal stuff, and it sucks, you know? But I'm not letting that stop, I'm not gonna let that stop me from being creative and stopping me from building. It just shows you that if you have an obstacle, that doesn't mean you have to stop, you just have to
Taking positives, turning it into, or taking negatives, turning it into positives.
Yes, exactly.
Do you have a way of like specifically handling, like if, I don't know, if you had one, you know, goal for your job or for your YouTube channel, and then something just kind of disrupts it, what do you do?
Well, recently I was like going on a study path, and then I got a huge roadblock, and so I was like kind of idle for like a few days, like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? And then I kind of just decided that it's like now or never, that I need to go hard, and I need to just take that negative thing that happened and kind of make that my driving force, and to kind of just go and do things better than I ever have, and try my hardest to do great makeup and make tutorials the best that I can. So I think just taking those negatives and kind of fueling your fires is a really great way.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love that too.
Keep that flame burning inside you.
Yeah, just going after your dreams no matter what comes into play, going for it and not stopping no matter how hard it gets. Okay, so
You have there more stuff? Okay.
this right here. So I have one more theme question for you, and then we're gonna do something a little fun, but first let's go a little more fun, I should say, because this has been fun. First, we're gonna go to the theme question, which is, what is the biggest life lesson you have learned so far? So out of your whole entire life, up until this day, what is the biggest life lesson that you can think of that you learned?
Okay, I'm going in. I'm going in, all right? No judging. So I've been reading, I told you I've been learning and reading a lot and expanding my knowledge on just everything. And I came to terms with the ultimate fear that I had growing up. I think I wouldn't say it's fear, but it's, you know, death. Death is scary because we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
You know, if you think about how our society is built, we keep death away. You know, we have graveyards far away from the living. You know, there's products fighting, you know, anti-aging.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's always a war against aging and death. And the more I've been learning everything, the more I realize that death is just a concept, that there is no death. Everything is a cycle. Just like when the sun comes up and it sets, the sun doesn't die, it's just gone, but it's gonna come back up again.
And when you talk about like that, are you more concerned or afraid, or not that you are, but are you talking about death of yourself or like the people in your life, like the people you love?
Just
or
in
both?
general, just death.
Just death in general.
Just death in general it's the concept of something stopping, to me, doesn't even exist anymore. It's not that it's stopping, it's evolving and it's gonna come back in a cycle and change and evolve. And so because of that way of thinking, it's completely changed my life. Like I'm no longer scared about anything.
Yeah.
I no longer fear about not making it or not having success or you know, not having a certain life I want, because in the next life, if I am good in this life, it'll be better. Yeah. If it's really what I believe in, then this is the way I'm thinking, then it makes the most sense. And you know, I always thought it was weird too, like, you know, going to church and you know, I've been in a lot of funerals and I've seen it, and people cry and they get scared of death or they're sad, and I always thought, if we really believe in heaven, then why are we sad? Like, shouldn't we be excited that they're going to a better place? And shouldn't we be celebrating that instead of crying and wearing black and mourning?
I think it's more about people, about their own, I don't want to say selfish, but in a way, like, I think you're more mourning the fact that you no longer get to experience that person.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Because I do think, especially when people are sick and they die because they're sick, you're almost relieved for them that they don't have to be in pain anymore. But then I think you're hurting because you're like, I never get to be around that person again. So that's
that
like
connection,
that connection
you miss
there.
that person. The most important life lesson is that, for me, it's to enjoy this life and live it to the fullest.
In the moment. And what about Jkissa? What do you think?
My mom always instilled into me that you need to follow your heart wherever it goes, and I've always wear my heart on my sleeve, and like I'm very open about what I'm feeling and how my heart feels, and so I think just that letting my heart kind of guide my journey is the most important life lesson I could ever learn.
I love that. That's really. I think for me, it's a similar thing where it's probably like wearing your heart on your sleeve, and also protecting myself and who I like let into my life. Like if any, I have so many friends who have these people in their lives that are like toxic, and they know they're toxic, but they keep them around. So
I totally understand.
I've like always been like, if someone doesn't feel right, there's a reason they don't feel right, and they're done and they're out. And because of that, I have the most amazing friends and like the best family. And I love it.
For the previous topic, just click right here, and for the next video, click right here. And if you want to learn how to make this tasty cucumber limeade, just click on this little guy right here. Click.